to share reflections on how small changes can lead to big changes.
I've very much enjoyed my engagement with the different domains in Nairobi. I think we're extremely privileged to be working with people who are at the cutting edge of expertise in their field. They're really trying to understand the challenges around structural transformation, around health, nutrition and well-being, around housing and safety and security. So I've very much enjoyed learning from these experts about the challenges that Nairobi's residents have faced in the past and about the ways in which those challenges might be addressed.
The main problem we're looking at in this domain is that there is this characteristic that many African countries are urbanizing, but that has not been accompanied by growth in the work sector. And so we're looking at what happens in the business environment in terms of work and businesses.
I mean, it was great catching up with with the rest of domain researchers, and also meeting Diana, who is the CEO and the head of our program. And we got great insights from the presentations from the other domains. It was nice to see, the cross-cutting issues between the domains, and also having a glimpse of the findings from what we are trying to do, because ultimately we are wanting to find evidence that can enhance the lives and the livelihoods of urban residents, especially those who are in the marginalized groups and in the bottom income quintiles.
My reflection is that the challenges are very considerable. We all know that there have been multiple efforts on the policy front and indeed programming to try and improve things for Nairobi's residents. But too many of those efforts have not worked. Too many of them, as was described in the housing context, involve higher income groups occupying low income housing that was intended for those most in need.
Yeah, housing and settlement is a complex problem as a problem, but the study just is a starter, and hopefully will bring up more advanced discussions on detail. Thank you for listening.
The key challenges to structural transformation is the high cost of doing business in Nairobi. And as a matter of policy implications, what we'd like to see is coming up with policies and interventions that would reduce the cost of doing business in Nairobi. And this is going to be done in collaboration with the national government, the county government, and the private sector actors.
The meeting has very much met my expectations in terms of city domain researchers putting forward ideas that have come out of their research to date, and those ideas being reviewed and strengthened by contributions from other city domain researchers, from the political settlements experts, from the city of systems experts, from SDI Kenya and Muungano, based on their experience to date.
The recommendations you get from the structural transformation domain will be a great value addition into seeing that we develop more policies that are pro-poor and that that seeks to enhance the lives of those who are living in communities that have low income.
I'm very conscious of the scale of effort to improve outcomes in Nairobi. My ambition is that we find ways to contribute effectively to those efforts, and in so doing show a way in which research programs in general and FCDO as a development agency can really work in collaboration with urban reformers in cities, in situ, trying to find ways to address poverty and secure greater economic prosperity.
If we're talking about jobs and creation of an enabling business environment to do business, to conduct business, we are ideally talking about the youths, because those who run these businesses, over 70% of them are youths. And therefore, if you are talking about having policies that would encourage employment, that will encourage business expansion, we are ideally enhancing the capacity of the youths to engage in economic activities that would be more income generating, and also see them grow from being small to medium to large.
I really hope that we can find ways that offer livelihood opportunities to young people, because I know many of them want to be, all of them I think that I've met want to be actively engaged in advancing their capabilities, learning new skills, getting employed, generating income. I hope they will also be able to think a bit about other needs.
My expectation is that this project we are doing is not going to be in vain. We want to see it create a change, and that these policies are just not going to be policy documents that are read to donors and clients and government officials, but we want to see it translating the investment we have put in this project, translating to actual outcomes.
The African Cities Research Consortium is a research consortium. It's about building new knowledge. So some of the efforts that you need to make, the scaling up of upgrading, would lie outside of our area of expertise. But equally, there have been discussions about the things that you need to understand better to advance access to basic services, for example, advanced tenure security. And I would hope that we could collaborate on some of those themes.
Policies are there. What is lacking is the implementation. So with this study, with the findings and strong advocacy, the implementation of the research findings that we are going to suggest will go a long way in enhancing their potential. And so they'll be able to realize better pay by acquiring better jobs.